Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a seriously fascinating showdown in the automotive world. We are unpacking the Toyota Corolla Grande X 2025. This right here, it's the ultimate test of old school durability versus modern innovation. We've got a vehicle that has literally stood the test of time. It's an absolute staple on the roads. But, we've got to ask, is its legendary reliability really enough to hold up against today's rapidly advancing car tech? Let's find out. All right, let's just get right to the elephant in the room. 8,150,000 Pakistani rupees. Yep, that is the brand new price tag you're looking at today. And wow, does that set up our central dilemma perfectly? You're paying a huge premium, over 8 million rupees, for a car that, under the skin, is riding on a platform introduced way back, like more than a decade ago. So the big question we're answering today is whether an 11-year-old foundation is actually worth that kind of premium price in a market that's just flooded with shiny new competitors. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the 11-year legacy, look at the power and performance specs, and weigh the comfort trade-off. Then we'll check out the aging tech and design, have a little ultimate sedan showdown, and finally answer the big one. Is it still worth it? Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, an 11-year legacy returns. Believe it or not, this specific shape actually first started hitting the streets in Pakistan way back in 2014 and had its full launch in 2015. At first, pretty basic features, 15-inch rims. But as rivals started stepping up, Toyota had to respond, right? So in 2017, they rolled out this crucial facelift. They added automatic climate control, bumped up to 16-inch rims, and threw in some sleek LED headlights. Fast forward to 2021, the rims get another update. And boom, that brings us to the 2025 iteration. But notice a trend here. These are all incremental updates, just little tweaks to keep the car relevant without ever actually touching that core 2014 foundation. And that actually brings us to a really strong perspective from our source material. The reviewer points out that Toyota has essentially, exploited the massive trust people have in this vehicle. They've stretched a single generation's lifespan for 11 straight years without any major mechanical refinements. Think about it. While markets overseas have seen entire new generations of this car launch, live their lives, and get retired, the local market has just kind of stayed stagnant, leaning heavily on this proven but definitely older shape.
Moving right along to Section 2, Power and Performance Specs.
What's genuinely super interesting here is how this 1.8-liter, 138-horsepower engine handles fuel economy for your daily commute. If you're just cruising around the city, you can expect a very respectable 12 to 14 kilometers per liter. Get it out on the highway, and it easily stretches to 16 or 17. Now, you're probably looking at that weird bottom row, the 5.3 to 5.4 during brand new testing. Don't panic. Our source clarifies this was strictly because the car was literally fresh off the lot, barely any kilometers on the odometer. Once that engine breaks in, that 1800cc engine strikes a totally fantastic balance. It easily powers that large frame while keeping you from practically living at the gas station. But hey, an engine is only as good as its transmission, right? The Grande X rocks a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Now, usually, CVTs are great for fuel efficiency, but man, they can be incredibly boring to drive. It's kind of like a vacuum cleaner just revving up with no actual gear shifts. But Toyota actually solved this beautifully. They programmed these specific manual-like driving modes right into the CVT. So step 1, D1, it basically locks your speed around 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. Step 2, D2, lets you climb higher with raised RPMs. But step 3, D3, that is where the magic happens. Picture this. You're cruising at 100 on the highway in D3. You press the pedal, and bam, you get this instant manual-like acceleration response. It completely wipes out that annoying, sluggish CVT lag. All right, let's get into Section 3, the comfort trade-off. So the Grande X is pretty famous for its incredibly soft suspension. On the plus side, it gives you just unmatched absorption of potholes and those brutal speed breakers. You know how modern crossovers make you feel literally every single pebble on the road? Well, the Grande just glides right over them. Plus, its high ground clearance means even if you've got 3 passengers in the back, you're not going to bottom out on speed bumps. And that ride height makes it super easy for elderly passengers to get in and out. But there is a heavy cost here. That super soft suspension makes the car feel really unstable on sharp turns. If you take a corner too fast, you lose cornering grip and the car becomes prone to tail loss, oversteer, or understeer. So, here's the absolute bottom line. It is practically perfect for daily city commuting on rough, unpredictable local roads. If your goal is just a smooth, completely stress-free ride to work, it is absolutely brilliant. But it really, really lacks the high-speed cornering confidence and stability you'd get from its modern sedan rivals. Honestly, for everyday driving, this super forgiving suspension is exactly why this car remains so incredibly popular. Which brings us to Section 4, Aging, Tech, and Design. When you step inside, or even just look closely at the exterior details, the age really starts to show. First off, there's just an excessive amount of chrome on the outside. Modern car trends are heavily leaning into matte black or sleek body-colored trims, so all this chrome feels, well, pretty outdated. Then there's the cabin. The insulation is frankly poor. You can clearly hear the road and passing motorcycles. On top of that, the AC blower fan is noticeably louder than the competition. And on the tech front, it's seriously lacking. I mean, competitors in this price range are packing 360-degree cameras and blind spot monitors to help you squeeze through tight spaces. The Grande X? None of that. It doesn't even have rear AC vents for your passengers in the back. But this kind of perfectly illustrates the wild paradox of this car. Just when you're thinking, okay, this is entirely outdated, you stumble onto a really cool surprise. Despite that aging platform, it actually holds on to some highly useful premium features. Like, check this out. It has auto-tilting side mirrors that automatically angle downward the second you shift into reverse. That's a super premium touch that is actually missing in a lot of its modern competitors. Oh, and it's got rain-sensing wipers too. So sure, it might lack those giant flashy new screens, but it definitely keeps some incredibly practical, high-end utilities. Let's transition over to Section 5, the ultimate sedan showdown. Okay, we have to look at the classic rivalry here. On one side, the Corolla Grande X gives you that superior ground clearance, the effortless bump absorption, and super easy entry. On the other side, its absolute biggest rival, the Honda Civic Oriole, offers vastly superior high-speed stability, much better cornering grip, and all those advanced camera assists. It really boils down to a very clear choice for you as the buyer. Do you want rugged, stress-free comfort over rough roads, or are you after modern, stable handling with all the cutting-edge tech? But wait, there's also an internal rivalry going on right inside Toyota's own lineup. Like, why spend the extra cash on the Grande X when the Altis 1.6 Special Edition is sitting right there? Well, the Grande X justifies its higher price tag with that robust 1.8-liter engine. It's perfectly paired to support the car's heavier body and those 16-inch rims. Plus, you're getting paddle shifters, a really nice leather-stitched steering wheel, a much better multimedia screen, and those rain-sensing wipers we talked about. Now, the 1.6-liter option definitely saves you money up front and on taxes, but you're making compromises. You downgrade to a smaller engine, you get a plastic steering wheel, and you lose features, all while getting almost identical fuel economy anyway. Finally, Section 6, is it still worth it? Ultimately, the true magic of the Corolla Grande X doesn't live on a spec sheet. It lives in absolute peace of mind. The market resale value here is just incredibly strong. The parts availability, totally unbeatable. Literally, you can find a replacement part for this thing anywhere. It's got over a decade of proven, absolutely rock-solid long-term reliability. And hey, quick pro tip from our source, if you're buying one, go for the black interior option. That specific spec yields the absolute maximum market demand when you're finally ready to sell it. Honestly, people aren't buying this car for cutting-edge tech. They're buying it because it simply will not let them down. But that brings us to one final, slightly provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. With all these newer, feature-packed vehicles swarming into the exact same price bracket, the market for this particular car is definitely getting a bit stagnant. So we've really got to wonder, will the next generation, which is likely going to be a much-needed, highly improved hybrid model, actually arrive before this aging, reliable champion finally becomes completely obsolete? It is such a fascinating standoff between undeniable reliability and the relentless march of technology. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what drives our roads. Catch you next time.